There's a few money lessons that completely changed my life, and I'm not talking about the cliche save 10% or stop buying coffee ones. I'm talking about the ones that actually changed how I think, spend, and build wealth. Now, these lessons came from mentors, from books, from losing money, from making money, and honestly, just watching people screw it up. So here are the 9 money lessons that changed my life, and I promise if you take them seriously, they'll change yours too. Now, let's not waste any more time and get into the first lesson. Lesson number 1, money buys time, not things. When I first started making money, I blew it on random stuff like tech, clothes, cars, and other fun stuff. And then I realized the real flex isn't having a Tesla, it's having freedom on a Tuesday. You see, money's job is to buy back your time, and once you realize that, you'll have an entirely different perspective on money itself. So if you're still spending money on things that chain you to a job, you're doing it wrong. The rich don't buy things, they buy options. So before you buy something big, start asking yourself, will this purchase give me more freedom or less? And that single question changed everything for me. If it buys freedom, it's worth it, and if it buys status, it's probably not. Lesson number 2 is your savings rate matters more than your salary. I know finance bros who are making $200,000 a year who are still stressed about making rent. And I also know people making $60K a year who have 6 figures invested. Because what matters isn't what you earn, it's what you keep. A 50% savings rate on $60,000 means you're saving $30,000, which beats the average household by miles. But if you're saving 20% of a $150,000 salary, that's still only $30,000. But if you kept that same 50% savings rate with that $150,000 salary, then you'd still be saving 75 grand a year, which is way above average. If you get a raise at work, this doesn't mean that you should go and upgrade everything in your life immediately. It doesn't mean that you should upgrade your coffee order or get a new apartment or buy fancy new clothes. This is called lifestyle inflation, which means increasing your spending as your income increases, and it will keep you broke. The goal isn't always to make more money, it's to build the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Don't inflate your lifestyle as your income goes up, and always try to increase your savings rate. Lesson number 3, you can't save your way to wealth. Saving money is only step 1. $1,000 sitting in your savings account loses value every year because of inflation. With inflation being around 2.5% per year, this means that your $1,000 today will be worth $975 next year and then $950 the year after that. So to counter that, you need to invest that money and put it to work for you so that it can grow and outpace inflation. And no, you don't need to be an expert stock trader. People think investing is risky, but long-term, not investing is actually riskier. On average, the US stock market has returned 8 to 12% per year, so that means if you invested $1,000 today, it would be worth roughly $1,080 next year and around $1,160 in 2 years. And that's a lot better than keeping your money in a savings account. Now, there are super simple US market ETFs that you can invest in like VOO, VFV, or VTI that on average return around 8 to 12% per year. That being said, sometimes the market has a bad year or even a couple of bad years, but if you invest consistently over long periods of time, it averages out to 8 to 12% per year. That's why the wealthy don't save money, they invest it and put it to work. Lesson number 4, if you don't understand it, don't invest in it. Now, this rule has saved me from losing thousands of dollars on investments like crypto, NFTs, and hype stocks. Before you make an investment into anything, you should be able to explain how it works like you're teaching a 12-year-old. For example, if you're investing into a stock, you should at least be able to explain how the business works, what they do, and how they make money. If you can't explain how it makes money, then you are the product. Simplicity wins and boring works, and that's why even though many people say index funds and ETFs are boring, they still outperform 90% of investors. If you want excitement, go skydiving. If you want wealth, go invest consistently. Lesson number 5, your car is the fastest way to stay broke. Car loans are the second biggest form of debt behind mortgages and homes. Americans took out $188 billion in new auto loans in just Q2 of 2025, which is insane. And the average monthly car payment in the US is $750 US. And the average new car loses 30% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. That's a $15,000 loss on a $50,000 car. If you haven't got the message yet, cars will make and keep you broke. So here's a few tips to avoid falling for this trap. Number 1, buy used cars. Number 2, if you can't hypothetically buy it in cash today, don't buy it at all. Number 3, use the 24-10 rule. This means that you put a 20% down payment on the car, you finance it with a loan term of 4 years or less, and keep your total monthly vehicle-related costs to no more than 10% of your gross monthly income. You don't need a Mercedes to look successful. The real flex is driving a paid-off car. Lesson number 6, automate everything. I used to manually transfer money every month from my checking to my credit card to my savings and my investing accounts and so on. Sometimes I forget, and other months I would accidentally spend the money that I was supposed to be saving or investing. And then I realized the easiest way to build wealth is to take yourself out of the equation. Almost every bank now now lets you automate payments, so the day you get paid, you can immediately pay your bills, send money to your savings, and invest automatically. Some banks even let you have multiple spending or savings accounts for different goals or categories of spending, like a food account, a travel account, a fun account, etc. But at the end of the day, you need to automate everything. If you automate your money, you'll be richer by accident than most people are on purpose. Lesson number 7, the 50-30-20 rule is a starting point and not the final goal. Everybody preaches the 50-30-20 rule, and if you don't know what it is, it's when you spend 50% of your monthly income on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings. And this is a great starting point for a lot of people, but it's not enough. In today's economy and for the average salary, saving 20% of your income is probably not enough. The real goal is to try and flip it. Some of the wealthiest people I know operate on 70-10-20 or even 80-10-10, meaning they're saving 70 to 80% of their income. So if you want to increase your savings rate, you have two options. Number 1, cut your expenses, and number 2, increase your income, which we'll get into in the next lesson. Lesson number 8 is to always increase your income. Now here's the hard truth that no one wants to admit. You can only cut back on your spending so much, and you can't budget your way to financial freedom if you're still earning the same amount forever. Like, sure, you can skip the Starbucks if you want, but at some point, it's not about saving $5, it's about making 500 more. The real unlock for me was realizing that my income is a skill and not a salary. When I started focusing on learning high-value skills like marketing, sales, content creation, and also switching jobs, my income basically doubled in a year. Every rich person I know has multiple income layers. They have their main thing, then side hustles, then investments, and maybe even a small business on the side. Because you can only save so much, but your potential to earn is unlimited. So here's my rule. Every 3 months, I ask myself, what can I do to increase my income? It could be asking for a raise, learning a new skill, getting a new freelance gig, or starting a new business. You cannot cut your way to wealth, but you can build your way there. Lesson number 9, wealth is built in the boring seasons. The biggest misconception is that you have to hustle forever. But the truth is that wealth comes from consistency, not from excitement. It's when you're consistent, patient, and not chasing hype that you find this wealth. The people who win with money aren't the smartest, they're the ones who didn't quit. The people who automate, invest, and stay patient end up with everything that the impulsive ones are chasing. You need to build systems that work when you don't, because in 10 years, boring makes you rich. Every single lesson here took me years to actually learn. So if you're young, broke, or just starting, learn them now. Because the earlier you start understanding money, the faster it stops controlling you. Hit that like button and drop a comment with your favorite lesson, and of course, subscribe if you want to master money the smart way. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.